Yesterday, I shared a story. I started the podcast episode yesterday by sharing a story from my childhood about like what it's like to grow up as a boy, a male in our society. But I want to be very clear here. The conditioning to hold in your emotions and your true experience is a male and female thing. In fact, I could make the argument, and will in the podcast episode today, that women are probably more impacted by this than men are. And even though this is probably an unpopular opinion, men have more freedom to express the full experience of their emotions than women do. And this is something that I think all of us, male or female, we have to overcome. You've got to learn how to express your emotions, whatever those emotions may be. To hold those emotions in is negative, unhealthy, even has physical symptomology associated with it. Like, you can hold that stuff in your body. We now know that like holding emotions in your body is bad for your body and can impact your physical health, can lead to certain physical diagnoses that are not healthy for you. So this is something that we all have to overcome, male or female. All of us have constraints put on us by society. I would literally argue that women have more of those constraints than men do. And I'm going to get into that today. So welcome back to the Aha Moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott, Connie. Even though it's a really unpopular opinion, like we think of men as like we're not allowed to be sensitive. And I suppose that's true. If I made a video, if I went to go see the, whatever the popular romantic movie is, right? Whatever the tearjerker movie is. And if I walk out of that movie theater and I make a video about, I cried through the movie, I couldn't believe how romantic and amazing that movie was, I guarantee you there would be people in the comments questioning my masculinity, questioning my sexual orientation, questioning my sexuality. I guarantee you that would happen. Because I don't think men are allowed to be vulnerable in that way and to share like the sensitive part of the male experience. And by the way, the male experience is just as holistic as the female experience, and there's a sensitive part to that too. But on the flip side, women aren't really allowed to express negative emotions, or what we usually associate with negative emotions, things like anger or ambition, right? I'm a very ambitious guy, and if I say, I want to travel all around the world and give lectures, which I do, if I say I want to write another book and I sit in my office writing all day, there are people who say like, man, you're so driven. You're so ambitious. There are people who compliment me on those traits. But should a woman do it, she is judged and criticized, and she often has her mothering questioned. But I don't hear people question fathers. When a father has a job that requires them to travel and takes them all around the world, they're considered like a good provider. They're considered a strong person. If a woman were to do that, they often have their dedication to their family questioned. So there are certain emotions that women can't experience too. And if a woman gets angry and gets frustrated, she's often referred to in really negative ways. Like, that woman is a such and such or whatever, but maybe she's just angry and frustrated. One of the things that happened recently that really like bothered me when I saw it happening is when Cassie, the former girlfriend of Sean P. Diddy Combs, came out and said what happened to her. People questioned the authenticity of her story. She had a financial settlement with Diddy, and people accused her of making the accusation just to make money. And then the video came out of her being subjected to a level of violence that no woman should ever be subjected to. And a whole lot of people owe that young lady an apology. Another example of this is a rapper named Tory Lanez, allegedly shot another rapper named Meg Thee Stallion. And no one believed her. I mean, everybody on the internet did not believe her. And she was angry about it. She was bothered about it. And people were attacking her. And when the situation went to court, there was enough evidence to convict Tory Lanez and sentence him to prison for many years. So if you're a young girl and you watch that happen, let's say you're a young girl and you watch Cassie accuse a man of violence, and you watch the internet attack her and her lose her credibility, impact her own mental health, lose her sense of strength. And let's say you're 10 years old and you just kind of watch this happen on the internet because you have access to the internet. And then when you grow up and you're 20 years old and you are subjected to violence, how likely are you to put yourself through that same experience? So it's hard being a woman. For the same exact reason it's hard being a man. It might be easier for a woman to walk out of a romantic movie and say, oh, I cried through the whole movie. But it's equally hard for both of us, both genders. I recognize there are not two genders, but it's equally difficult for both of us to experience and allow themselves to express their emotions. And we have to learn how to do that. I want you to think about, like, what messages have you gotten about expressing your emotions, and what are you currently doing to overcome them and learn to be someone who can express your emotions in healthy ways? Thanks for being here. If you wouldn't mind doing me a super huge favor, I would love it if you would share this podcast with at least one person in your life that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And also, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. And also follow me on all of the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can search for my name, Elliott Connie, or at Elliott Speaks. That's my handle across all platforms. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.